Hey everyone, hopefully I'm live here right now. I don't see the signal yet. Oh, there we are. Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. So that was the premiere. If I hopefully you watched that premiere on these shower doors that I just installed. I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a review of what I felt about these glass doors and show you some other systems that actually might be better than this option. So ultimately I was happy with the outcome of it. The look of it was great. But I do think that there are some better shower doors out there. Dreamline is really one of the great, shower door systems that I've installed. I've installed many of them. They're really an affordable price. But I would say that this one, the only thing I really didn't like were the side channels and how they were adhered. Basically, they just were siliconed on. That kind of made it kind of messy and kind of cumbersome because you're basically just that's all that's really holding those little side channels on was the silicone. And in the adjustment, now all Dreamline shower doors are kind of the same with the top rail system like this. They all have very minimal amount of adjustment to them, a quarter inch at most. And one of the things that I found over time is that it's sometimes, if your floor is a little bit unlevel, it's sometimes better to go ahead and add another 16th to the height of that top rail. That would help out a lot, just because if your floor is slightly unlevel, when you go to slide the doors, it might be too tight to the guide rail of where the shower doors slide in. So like this particular model, it was like 71 and an eighth to the bottom of the track. If you would have added another 16th or so, that could help, but you have to pay attention to your levelness. If your floor isn't level, you definitely need to overcome that because the rollers themselves only overcome about a quarter inch of height. So, but yeah, hey, thanks for coming into this chat. I meant to say at the beginning, give me a like on the live stream if you can. That really helps out, get this live stream out to more people. And I tell you what, I have a lot of future plans here with live streaming. I can't wait to get out of this office so you don't see the background of this. I'm going to be having my own studio where, I'll be able to demonstrate things. It'll just be, I can't wait to do it. It's just going to be an awesome experience. I'll be able to demonstrate tools. I'll have different camera angles to be able to make a better show out of this. But I'm still, I still really enjoy being able to demonstrate or show some of the things that are in my courses and how to go about it. So, Gene, good to see you. Thanks so much. You're always a patron to come onto my live streams. I really appreciate it. I haven't had one in the last couple of weeks, so sorry I have missed out on doing anything the last couple of weeks. I've just been really busy creating a new course. Not on this particular bathroom, but the one I just did prior, which was a cast iron tub with mud walls. I basically have all the videos edited at this point. I'm just trying to curtail some of the writing, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'll have that out. And there's going to be a lot of great videos coming out on that one as well. Daniel, you suggest JB Weld. That's a great other option too, man. Epoxy's really just worked well for me, but JB Weld most likely. I guess if you make sure you get the ones that do adhere to tile as well, that is definitely one way to go. Nat, love your content, man. I've learned so much from your videos. Thanks for coming on here. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So anyways, where you find this. So I have an Amazon store that I put this shower door on, and I want to state, I mean, I completed the video, because that's, this is part of the bathroom. The other thing, but there were some flaws within this shower door system that I'm not sure I would end up purchasing this exact model again. Primarily because of the way that those side channels just siliconed onto the side. I wasn't a real big fan of that. But also on a curbless shower, the height just wasn't enough. I'm 6 foot tall, and that top rail was at 71 and an eighth. So, 3/4 of an 7/8 of an inch, too low for me. So, and that was just because it was a curbless entry. If you had a curb shower, you probably would have no problem because you're going to be up another 3 to 4 inches. But on a curbless shower, I'd probably go with something that had more of a open end top. They do have sliding glass doors that are more of a bottom roller type, and so there is no header at all. Or go to the next height and get the 76-inch model that would allow that top rail to be up, 76 inches for the curbless shower. So that's that is you know, there's a bunch of things, but that was one of the other items that, you know, if you saw some of my live streams, I even hit my head off of the top rail one time walking through there. So that was less than ideal. But all in all, for the price, here, let me just show you. So most of my glass enclosures, I like to order from build.com. They seem to be the best price on a lot of things. So this was the Dreamline Essence. And so this was the 44 to 48 inch model. And so, yeah, so you could see here, 630 bucks. I believe my Amazon store has it for the same price. So 630 bucks, 3/8 glass, or was it 3/8? Let me make sure that it was 3/8. 5/16 on this one. I'm pretty sure that shower door I installed on this one was the 3/8 inch glass. They probably have a model for the 3/8 inch. So here, right here, this is the one that I would probably recommend on a curbless. Now, this is a 76 inch height, so that top rail is going to be much higher, and it won't hit your head on that. But yeah, that's only another 20 bucks too. That's not even that bad. Which one is this? Is this 5/6? You know, a lot of these shower doors now are going 5/16. I've kind of noticed that in the last year or two, that most of them are going to 5/16. And, you know, honestly, it's still a pretty thick door. It still works really well. But on my Amazon store, if you guys aren't on my Amazon store, or if you haven't followed me on here, I do live streams on here as well, and kind of highlight a lot of the different systems I install, and it helps you out with finding the tools and everything. So yeah, this is a little bit more expensive on Amazon, 680 bucks. But that is the, no, this is a 76 inch height too as well. So this is probably the better model to go with on that, because then that top rail would be much, much higher, than on a curbless entry. So, but anyways, build.com is probably one of the best places to find a lot of these glass enclosures. You can browse through here, find your, overall width and height, and it's just amazing the pricing that they can sell these things for, because I do a lot of custom glass, and you can't even touch the price of glass for the amount that these doors are going for. So it's really amazing. Let me get my chat on here, because this one always blows up. Billy Ray, how do I get this? Just came up, need help. What do you mean by that? I guess, I'm trying to go over where you find this. This is on build.com. Is my recommendation for a lot of these. Just have to pay attention to when the stuff is going to be shipped out. This is not too bad, 3 to 6 days. But having this variance of 44 inches to 48 inches, that should give you a pretty good gauge. So as I was stating at the beginning of the video, to always order these things after you install the tile, that is a really good idea, because returning these things is a nightmare and could cost you a fortune just to return. But with a variance between 44 and 48 inches, like, you're definitely most likely going to be able to fit it in your space. So shouldn't be a problem. So Dreamline, here, I'll just go to my Amazon store, because I have the other ones listed up that I've kind of liked and used over the years. Now, when it comes to sliders, I do like sliders on curbless showers, mainly because I do have a bottom track, and that helps to contain the water within inside the shower. When you're doing and I have done a lot of swinging doors as well, so don't get me wrong, you could definitely put a swinging door on a curbless shower. It's just that you're more reliant on the actual sweep of the door to keep that water in the area. And sometimes, if your floor isn't 100% level, you can end up with problems with that door sweep not meeting the floor properly, and possibly getting some water outside of the shower area. So just know that swinging doors can be a little bit more complicated. Now, you can get different components, like you can get a little threshold to go on the tile at that transition to help mitigate anything. I've just in the past experience, I try to do mostly sliders, but a lot of times when you're doing curbless showers and you're doing like a corner shower or something like that, you're going to go with a swinging door. It just makes more sense. It's less expensive, because a sliding door on like a corner shower can really cost quite a fortune. mainly because of all the holes that you have to have in the glass to be able to make that work. Not that you can't do it, but custom glass, when you get into that, can end up costing a fortune. But if you're just doing a regular alcove, just like like we just demonstrated in that shower, I would probably go with a slider shower door system if you have the width, the width allowance for it, just because of the way that the bottom track gives you a little bit of more waterproofness with inside the shower. Messino, this is another great shower door system that I've installed. This is a little bit more straightforward because but the only thing about this one is that they have a fixed panel. Both doors don't slide, so some clients don't like having just one door being the way to open it up. And you can even see in this configuration, I don't really particularly like this configuration, having the fixed panel on the faucet wall, because then when you open up the door, you're reaching all the way into the shower and getting wet as you turn it on. So I typically, almost all these sliders, you can turn them around. So I usually put the fixed panel on the back end of the shower and then put the sliding door on the shower faucet side, so you can open it up and turn on the faucet. So almost all of these sliding glass door enclosures can be reversed to the other side. But Messino, another great system, still really affordable, $826. If I were to order just the glass custom, it probably costs a little bit more than that just for the glass itself. Other Dreamline system, so this was the Essence, this is the Bypass, so this is that system I just installed. Only this is for like a full shower, 56 by 60. This has the 76-inch height, so this is going to give you a little bit more room if you had the curbless shower entry. And then what else have I installed? Aston, these are great doors. I have that on my channel as well, but these are the swinging doors. I like this one a lot because it had the basically the channel here, the U channel on the side here, that allowed me to overcome a lot of the unevenness or unplumbness, and it also gave you an allowance to be able to shrink that door opening. So definitely check out my YouTube channel on some of those other ones. If you go under playlists, first I should say, if you go under playlists, you can watch the entire bathroom renovation playlist on this particular bathroom. This was basically a 4x9 bathroom that had just a 3x4 shower, and we gutted everything down to the studs, and then we made it a curbless shower. It used to be a fiberglass base with some ugly 4x4 tile. So be sure to check that out. I have a lot of great information on there about framing, about waterproofing, installing a shower niche, and just, it goes through the entire process. I might eventually make a course out of this at some point. But yeah, it's all here underneath the small bathroom renovation. And then if you go into glass enclosures, I do have other demonstrations of the other enclosures that I've installed under glass shower doors and enclosures. So you go under there and you can see all the other videos that I have available on there. So be sure to browse out my channel for all this other helpful information. But let me get into where I wanted to demonstrate or show you a shower door that I just worked on recently. And this is a Dreamline shower door as well. And this would probably be the one I would go with. This is called the Sapphire. So let me see if I have that in my Amazon store. I'm pretty sure I do. Where is my store? You know what? Actually, let me just look it up on build.com. It doesn't really matter about my Amazon store. So we have the Dreamline Sapphire. And I like this one better because of the way the channels were able to screw into the door. So this would be the same model. It's basically the same price. It's not even that much more. So this is the 76-inch height, and it has a channel that you actually screw into the wall. So I would recommend the Sapphire over the Essence, just because the side channels are able to screw into the wall much better, and eliminates a lot of the problem. So, and they're both sliding as well. I should mention the other thing I didn't like about this recent glass enclosure was that the fact that there was 3 different holes that I had to drill into the floor. That's less than ideal on a curbless shower, but as you could tell, the way I demonstrate, or the way I did it, was just to prevent that drill bit going through into the waterproofing and using epoxy. But this particular model, and I'm going to show you the demonstration. I'm just going to show you the video of the installation. It just had a center track. So you're only talking about one penetration into the floor for mounting the shower doors. But it's basically exactly all the same hardware, the same size glass, or the same glass, just with a better U-channel side. So definitely check the Sapphire out. I would recommend that over the Essence of what we just did there. So yeah, let's get into that video, because I think this is a helpful one as well. Where did I put that? Yeah, there we go. So be sure to ask me any questions you have. You know, I've been doing a lot of, I've done a lot of glass enclosures over the years. Each one is a little bit different, and each shower is a little bit different as well. So you always end up with a little bit more issues on one or the other. But how are the doors shipped? They're actually shipped on a pallet most of the time, Gene. I've never had one. I don't think I've ever had one that had an issue. Yeah, they usually just ship up to your door, but it's a they're gonna call you and you have to schedule the time. They're not gonna send this on FedEx. They're gonna have to probably bring you a lift gate type of truck. Sometimes they'll call you and say, I have a triaxle, and if you can, if there's any way that you can have that ability to come to your house, do that, because then I think the lift gate usually does cost another $50 or $60 to have that option. Most neighborhoods are going to need the lift gate, just because you can't get a triaxle in your neighborhood. So, but it's cheap. Most of it's all with free shipping. But that's kind of a disguised thing, obviously. I honestly don't know how they do it with the price. Most of these glass enclosures are still $700-800, and I know that if you screwed up and ordered the wrong door and you want to ship it back, it's going to cost you over $300 to ship it back. That's the real cost of shipping. So I don't know how they're doing this. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. They're literally selling those glass enclosures for $400, everything included, unless they're just getting some really crazy deal on delivering. So that's why I'm saying it's, a lot of times it's better, in your best interest, to measure after you have the towel installed. Make sure that you're aware of all the possible unplumbedness of your walls, so that if you are more than a 1/4 inch out of plumb, then you might want to select another shower system that would work. If you're out a 1/4 inch, it does make it tough. But that Aston shower door system, this one here, now, I mean, it's a swinging door, so you might not have the ability to do that in your particular shower. But this has this big U-channel on the side. This will no, I can't even see it on the thing, can you? Yeah, let me move this over. I didn't realize you guys couldn't see that. But yeah, this big wide U-channel on the side will overcome a lot. I think it can actually overcome almost a 1/2 inch out of plumbness in a lot of ways. So, that's, it's still in your best interest to wait until afterwards. But getting into this little demonstration, this is only like a 7-minute video. I'll probably pause to go over some of the stuff that I actually liked a lot better about this system. But yeah, if you already have the Essence, I hope that some of the guidance I have in there has helped you out. I just think the Sapphire model is a little bit better. Okay, so in this alcove shower space, it usually makes sense to do sliding glass doors. So today we're going to install the Dreamline Sapphire. So this is both sliders will slide so that you have accessibility to get into the shower either way. So yeah, very simple installation. I'll show you how you put it together. Basically, this is the bottom track, this is the top track. Rollers on top will make the door actually slide. So first thing you want to do is measure your opening. So where the top rail is going to go, measure it. We got 57 3/16, and then measure it down at the base where the bottom track will be, and we have the same thing, 57 3/16. So we're going to take 9/16 off of the top track. That's what they want you to do, is subtract 9/16. So let's first get the 90 or the 57 3/16 mark. Okay. It's really all the same hardware, same top rail. 9/16. So that'll be our cut mark.
And don't worry too much about
you know, the complete
and
accuracy.
The bottom one is
measurement.
going to be
Even if you're an 1/8 inch off, you still have plenty of room. You know, that track, top track that holds in has plenty of room.
So first get the 57 and 3/16, and then we're going to take off 5/16.
So that one pretty much has the exact same.
So that'll be our cut mark here.
Bottom little tiny rail.
All right,
so
I
this would be
advise
great for
using
shower.
a chop saw for this, so you could get nice square cuts. When I do use silicone for shower doors, I like to use this water clear silicone. And so this bottom track, we're going to want to put some silicone down all the way along the bottom.
So that's the water clear silicone. That's my favorite. It's made by CRL. So if you go to my Amazon store, I'll have it there. You can go to their main website, CRL, but you have to have an account to be able to order from there. It is expensive stuff. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely expensive. But if you're doing a shower door and you want something that's going to last a really long time, this is the silicone to do it. I've never seen it yellow. I've never had to go back and silicone anything because it's always lasted. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever called me back about a silicone joint using this stuff. Now, the regular stuff, sure. And some of the, you know, when you get the matching caulking for your tile, I've definitely, you know, that definitely sometimes has to be redone. But this stuff, it's amazing. I mean, $70 is no cheap amount for silicone, but I would recommend all day long buying that for sure. Yeah, one tube's enough, Gene. 10 ounces. I mean, I want to see the 5-ounce tubes. System, and then I think you can get the 5-ounce tubes as well. That's a little bit cheaper. You know, I always order the 10 ounce. Just make sure that when you see this 10 ounce, there is 5-ounce containers that will probably be $40, but I'd hate for you to run out of that. And I don't fill this with, you know, when I have a U channel of any sort, I don't use this stuff for that because this is way too expensive. Anything that you're not going to see or just adhering into a U channel, just use the regular stuff you get from Depot or whatever, the GE, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But this stuff is for the visible stuff, the stuff that you're actually, you know, sealing to the wall. That's primarily what I use it for. But typically, you know, 5 ounces is enough. I just, you know, depending on your situation and what you're doing, you might go through it. But this is also great. I use the CRL when I'm putting together the rest of my sinks and faucets and all that stuff. Anywhere it might be visible, I use this stuff for that because it definitely just lasts a lot longer. So
caps go on the end here.
Now this is what I liked about it. Okay, so these caps go on the end. Now they were just siliconed on, which I think is totally fine. I mean, once you silicone this stuff, especially using that CRL stuff, it's not going to go anywhere once it sets up. I mean, it's pretty well locked in there. But I like the fact that I had, you know, the guide channel just over each side, and then you only had one penetration, which was right in the center. So on a curbless shower, this was definitely a lot better because you only have one hole. And I like the idea of how this kind of held this little tiny channel into place. I do like the little tiny channel, don't get me wrong. I like it, especially on the curbless shower. It made it a minimal amount of area for it. It's just when you're the other system, it was, you know, had the sleeve over, but it had, you know, the penetrations on either side. And I really don't like screwing into my bases, but, you know, when this guide rail is important, and you just, you know, you have to do it. Fortunately, there's really no way out of it. But with the PVC, you know, kind of construction, you know, it should hold up well. And then these are the U channel sides. This is what I mean. This makes it nicer.
And we'll mark our holes.
Now this would be another area that if you need a little more distance, if your shower pan itself isn't 100% level, add another 16th, kind of shim up these side channels just slightly, or you can just make sure that top track that you hold the top track in, you can just raise that up a little bit and pilot hole those U channels. So, but I just went straight with the the holes that were on the side tracks, because basically you're installing the top rail guide or bracket with those side channels. I hope that makes sense though. If you're needing a little bit more distance, if your pan is 100% level, if your shower floor is 100% level, you want to kind of raise that channel just slightly so that you don't have any problems with your glass doors rubbing against the door guides. This is just siliconed in. Not terrible, but if you have any unevenness on your wall, you might want to have to add a screw down below and into your tile work, because this is, again, it's just being silicone. It's just holding itself. The bottom part of this is just being held with the silicone. And as you can see, the top bracket gets screwed into with the channel. So that's what I mean. If you need a little bit more height for any reason, if it's a good idea, you can just raise that channel up a 16th. It's not going to make a big deal. You'll be able to caulk that gap at the bottom with no problem. And there's the top rail. So you can see there's 3/4 of an inch on either side. So if you cut that top rail a little too small, it's not a big deal. These little locking plates are going to hold it in place. And so you got a lot of variance there. You got a lot of room for any error there. And these are the rollers, same rollers. They don't have a whole lot of adjustment. They have about a 1/4 inch difference. So if your walls are on plumb, but this particular shower system,
go ahead and just silicone their side tracks
with this U channel is going to hide a lot of that unplumbness as well. So, even if you're 3/8 inch out, you'll be able to have the room to have those doors close, and then you're not going to see the gap in between. Yeah, anything exposed, use that CRL. So the inside door goes on first. Be very, very delicate with your glass, especially if you have any tile work. You don't want to be hitting the edges of your tile or your glass on the tile. And then if you make a mess like I do, use some acetone. That helps kind of clean all that glass. And then the rest of it's kind of a breeze, really. I mean, once you get the channel, the top rail up, you just basically just set those doors into place and make sure that they stick in the guide, and it's good to go. It is nicer to have the handle on the door. Gives you a little bit more support to open it or to put it on the top rail.
Okay, so we just gotta put these anti-jumpers on after you get the front door on.
This takes usually most of these take about 2 to 3 hours to install. If you haven't done it before, it might take you longer than that. I mean, I guess I'm not 100% sure what it's like to do it without being videoed, so maybe you can do it a lot quicker, but it's pretty straightforward. So that's the Sapphire. That's the one I would probably recommend over the Essence, just because those U channels are a lot better. The other thing I wanted to show you here is the glass enclosure course that I have. So if you're doing any custom glass, this would be something that is really going to help you out, because I go through how to measure, order, and install your own custom glass. I do want to show you one part in here though. If you're doing a curbless shower and you're doing anything custom, I want to show you a type of U channel that is going to make it foolproof, so you don't have to do any drilling into the bottom of your shower pan at all, and you don't have to worry about any of your waterproofing. But now, just to go through this is going to really help you measure your glass. That's like the number one thing, and you always want to do that after your tile's in. You definitely don't want to be trying to gauge or do anything with custom glass until all of your tile work is in. I know it takes a lot longer to order all this stuff, and it's the last thing to go in. It might even, I mean, who knows these days, it might be 6 weeks before you can get it. But it is important to get myself a little bit bigger here. It is important to accurately measure it, and I go over all those details within this course. But the biggest thing I wanted to highlight here is the templates that I can have so that you can fill out easily and take to your local glass shop. A lot of glass companies are going to give you a hard time if you've never done this before and you don't have a very good concept of what you're trying to order, because they don't want to be liable for it. They don't want the bad press if you order wrong, and they're going to leave all the liability up to you. So it's really important to come there organized and knowing exactly what you want. It's going to make everyone feel a lot more confident, even if it's your first time. If you come organized, you're going to have a lot less headache with that, because most of the glass companies that you go to order this stuff, they're just kind of the middleman between the big distributor and again, they don't want the bad press. They don't. If you come in there and say, hey, I mismeasured, it's your problem. You're going to have to order another piece of glass. But this custom glass, of course, or if you do it yourself, you definitely be able, the cost of having somebody do custom glass is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous for a good reason, because if they mismeasure, they got to compensate for that expense. And a lot of times you'll see that the glass might be $1,500 to $2,000 just for the glass, and it might cost $4,000 for that person to install everything. So it'd be overall $4,000. So they're basically compensating. And I do recommend that. I do recommend that you compensate for at least what the glass costs, so that if you screw up the door measurement, you can buy another door. It's going to hurt, but at least you're not going to be getting negative by the time you get out of that deal. So, what I'm saying is that you can install this yourself, and even if you screwed up, you're going to be way less than what it is to have somebody else come out there and do it. And normally it's the door. Normally there's something, you just mismeasured or you missed something there. Typically the side panels and going over a bench or anything like that, that's, you can make that work. And then, if the door is a little bit off, at least that's my experience. I've always screwed up on the doors where it was a little too tight and I couldn't get them to close properly. So I end up having to order another door, which is usually around $500 or $600 depending on the size. I usually go with a 28-inch door on most of my custom glass doors. And I think they roughly are about $500 to do it. And really, I just hold on to that door that I screw up and put it on the next job, make sure that I measure it. Because no one really, even if it's, just as long as they have a decent door opening to get into their shower, if it's 28 1/4, 28 1/16, they don't really care. It doesn't really matter to them or to the next client. But getting into what I wanted to show you, and I just feel like this is really important if you're doing any custom glass, and that is to use a Deco SG profile. So this profile right here gets tiled right in. I hope this volume isn't too crazy loud on this one. Wow, thanks for the super chat, Fast Hatch. I appreciate that. Did you just purchase the same door for your bathroom? Okay, awesome, man. Yeah, I hope those tips help you out. Feel free to reach out to me, bathroom remodeling teacher at Gmail. So if you did the Essence one or any of these shower doors, check the levelness of your floor. And it might be in your best interest to add another 1/16 to the height of where that bracket for the top rail goes. That's going to make it a little bit less likely that you're going to have any rubbing against the guide door, the door guide on the base, because they have it kind of set where it's pretty tight. And there's only so much adjustment with those rollers. You only get about 1/4 inch out of those rollers. So if you turned them all the way up, you're only going to get 1/4 inch. So if you got the Essence, add another 1/16. You're not going to miss that. That's going to be totally fine, on that height, because the door is still going to definitely stay within the guide and be perfectly fine. But it will make sure that nothing rubs on that door track. So hopefully that makes sense. Fast Hatch, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. But thanks so much. I think you're actually the first one to send that out to me, so I really appreciate it, man. But yeah, I wanted to go over the Deco SG. If you have, if you're doing custom glass, or sometimes you can use this with some of these door kits Somewhat kind of unlikely though, because most of the kits are designed to have the U channel above the tile layer. So let me just show you this, because this is a really helpful type on doing glass enclosures over, custom glass enclosures. Okay, so if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend installing this Schluter Deco SG profile, the profile that the fixed panels will be sliding into. I really highly recommend this on curbless showers because that prevents you from putting any screws into the waterproofing. So I have a laser here in a square, just making sure that my shower area is square and equal distance from the wall, and you can use a standard trim saw to cut the U channel. Just please use some safety glasses because those shards do fly out. Now for the door or the fixed panel area, I would deduct 3/8 of an inch off of the width of that, so that if your door is 28 inches, you want to measure out 28 3/8 and cut your channel to that. Now I do recommend installing the outside floor first when you're doing a curbless shower, so that you can slide the U channel into place. And then this also really makes it easy for you installing the shower floor tile. You can meet it up with the outside floor tile. So as you can see, very simple, just sliding that Deco SG channel into the tile work. And then you want to shim some things up using some spacers if you're, obviously your pan is sloping towards the drain. So you want to make sure that reveal stays the same. So I just felt like that was really important. And then another quick tip, just make sure you try to make that outside floor tile, that at least that first one, kind of slope in towards the shower. And then you complete your rest of your tile. Now this is a really important tip when it comes to curbless showers, and that is to separate the thin set layer between the shower floor area and the outside floor area. Because what happens is that if water gets underneath the tile and the grout, the thin set can siphon water outside of the shower area through capillary water movement. So it's just as simple as just sealing against that U channel and against the tile, just basically separating the thin set layer, and that will prevent that issue. And then I just figured I'd show you the rest of the installation really quickly of what goes next on installing the shower pan floor. Okay, so yeah, that's a really, as you can see, I almost totally forgot. That's why I'm sealing it now. I basically had everything set ready to do the tile, and I was like, oh, I forgot to silicone that joint. But yeah, separating that thin set layer is really important on curbless showers. It just prevents water migration through that capillary water movement, like I was explaining. But the Deco SG, again, I know not everyone's going to be doing custom glass, and but I just definitely wanted to highlight that in case you were, because that Deco SG channel is really the way to go. But in this course, this is another highlight on how to go about installing a clamp on even a curb. Like a lot of these curbs, you can't go ahead and just drill and anchor anything into either. Sometimes you have to use the epoxy and make sure that you don't go through that as well. So Schluter curb, you penetrate that top surface there, you're gonna have a problem. And I tell you what, I actually had a shower door. I mean, this was a long time ago now. This is probably 8-9 years ago that I put a custom glass enclosure on, and I drilled through the curb that was, I actually put that curb in too. So I did not have the curbs that I like to use now back then. And it wasn't Schluter. I can't remember what kind of curb I did now, thinking about it. Anyways, I drilled and I screwed my glass clamp into the curb, and it took about, 4 years later, and there was water dripping through the light fixture of the kitchen of this bathroom I did. And I was like, there's no way the waterproofing could be jeopardized within this shower. I made sure that everything, I'm pretty sure I did a Noble shower system. It was basically like a membrane type of system. And typically when you have like water leaks, I flood test everything too, so I always make sure that everything's draining properly. So it was really a mystery to me of why there would be anything leaking down below. I had a feeling maybe it was something to do with a pinhole leak, because a lot of the copper installed in some of these homes, you get pinhole leaks and they just arise over time. But nope, It wasn't. It was me drilling a screw right into that curb, and water was getting around that glass clamp, and it was basically just the way the L-shaped corner of the shower. When you took a shower, water was just hitting those shower doors quite dramatically, and it was just going straight into that screw hole and then straight down below. But it took 3-4 years for that to ever be uncovered. It was embarrassing. It was terrible. It was terrible to find that was because of that. So what I had to do is take the whole glass enclosure out, and then I had to just make sure that I put a plug anchor in there, filled it with the weedy sealant. I used some polyurethane sealant. I didn't redo the whole shower because there was nothing wrong with the actual shower. It was just the screw hole for the clamp that was the problem. Anyways, this is just, so curbless showers are really important not to do that as well. Probably more important than a curb, but you can still have the same problems just drilling into any of these curbs as well. So be sure that you prevent that from being screwed in there. But in my course, I go through basically a lot of these different things about the measurement, but these are the curbs that I do like to use now. This is KBRS. This is a solid foam curb, but it has a PVC top to it, and it allows you to just put screws straight into that, and it self seals around it. This is what I would use if you're doing a mud bed. If you're doing, I incorporate, I start mixing stuff now. I'm tired of manufacturers only dictating you can only use our products for everything. If I want to use a Schluter pan and use this, I'm using it now because I have confidence in both systems. I won't get the warranty from them, but I'll know it's really well done. Schluter does not have a curb that allows you to put any screw penetrations but KBRS does. So I like to have these curbs on hand. I think they're great if you're going to do a curbed shower. Most of the time these days I am doing primarily curbless showers, but when I do, the KBRS hard curb is primarily what I go for. But then if you're doing a full other weed shower system like the Weedy system, these are waterproof as well. You can just put your plug anchors in. Now they're not going to have any stability like the KBRS curb because this PVC top allows you to actually get something that will screw in, whereas the solid foam curbs, you're going to have to use a plug anchor because there's nothing to grab into. It's just going to be it's going to feel kind of hollow when you put a screw in. So you're going to need a plug anchor for that, but you don't have any worries about putting screws into these curbs as well. So, and then if you ever bought my course, you can always leave me a comment, and I'm usually pretty good at getting back to people. Those are my, these are the people that I'm really taking care of. This is something that I'm hoping that will really grow over time here with these courses, because the one I have coming out here soon is really going to be awesome. I'm really excited to get out there. So, but let me go back to where I have, so the DIY geek collection. So if any of you are interested, this is going to give you all three of the courses I have provided now, plus the third one that am going to be coming out with. So I have the tub and shower faucet, I have the custom glass enclosure, and then the tiled shower. And really all three of these really do go hand in hand, because the tub and shower faucet course, or not tub and shower faucet, but tub and shower bathroom renovation, highlights the 7-day process, start to finish, gutting everything, drywall, toilet installation, vanity installation. It goes through the entire process day by day, whereas the tiled shower is just specifically just a tiled shower. So if you're looking for guidance on how to do bathroom remodeling, the tub and shower course is going to really highlight that very well for you. You're just going to supplement it if you're doing a tiled walk-in shower, because this will go into the more specifics of just doing the shower itself. So, but I am going to be coming out with one like this particular shower here, not this one, the one that I just was highlighting. This shower here with the shower base, this will be part of that geek collection as well. And I do have a lot of aspirations for the geek collection in the future, maybe providing some coaching, some FaceTime, things to be able to go over your specific issue, because I could be here. I've been doing a lot of bathrooms, but I have only captured so many of them. Each situation is a little bit different, so trying to highlight every situation is tough. And hey, if you guys can come on a FaceTime or live stream or something like that, and I can really see what's really going on, it can help everybody for that matter. So that's kind of really all I had tonight. And I know it's a short live for me. It's only been 45 minutes. I usually go a lot further into depth on that, but that's really all I had mostly had for you guys tonight. I just kind of wanted to give you my feedback on that. So thanks so much for joining me here. And I'll probably have a live stream out here. I'll notify you. So be sure to subscribe to my channel. You'll get notification of that. I was kind of, pretty much kind of presented this morning and put that out there. But, I got a lot of stuff go into those playlists because a lot of them all go together very well. So anyways, thanks so much. If you have any questions, bathroom remodeling teacher at Gmail. Be more than happy to help you out. And I'll see you in the next live stream, guys. Thanks so much.